great new day to all my self-care family and friends. Welcome to another episode of the Room to Breathe podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach 614, and I am so thrilled to have each and every one of you here with us today. Whether you are tuning in for a dose of inspiration or just a moment of calm, you're in the right place. Now, before we dive into today's episode, just a quick reminder. If you are enjoying the show, don't forget to tap the screen, like, comment, and share. Your support helps us to connect with more amazing people like you. And if we're not friends already, be sure to give us a follow, subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on our latest content. I also invite you to visit our website at theselfcareclub.org. We've got some awesome affirmative apparel, motivational merch, and a bunch of free resources waiting just for you. It's all about empowering yourself and embracing your journey. No matter what challenges you're facing, remember that you are not alone on this path. We're in this together, supporting and uplifting each other every step of the way. It is time for us to choose to prioritize our mental well-being, to embrace our growth, and to find peace in the present moment. So let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together.
In the quiet moments, that's where I'll find a little room to breathe, leave it all behind. Give me room to breathe, I need some time to heal my heart, to clear my mind. Gonna love myself, yeah, I believe in the power of me. Just give me room to breathe.
The topic for today is not my monkey, not my circus. Right? I go back and forth between show and circus, but for the purpose of today, it's circus, y'all, okay? So again, so I ain't gotta fix it in the recording, y'all. The topic of discussion for today is not my monkey, not my circus. So, y'all, we're gonna dive into this topic and talk about what it takes to protect our peace, what it takes to set our boundaries that actually stick, and to learn the art of letting go, right? We need to let it go. Let go of all this extra energy that people keep throwing our way. So I know that many of us get caught up in other people's mess, other people's chaos, right? And it truly drains us. It leaves us exhausted. And so, I want us to come away from this conversation today feeling more empowered, feeling more confident, and most importantly, feeling at peace with letting people go and go off and run their own circus, right? So let's start with the why behind it all. Why do we feel like we need to jump into other people's mess? Why do we pick up the burdens of other people and carry them, right? I think that a lot of us grew up with the idea that being a good person means that we have to be here for everyone else. Like we got to be the Olivia Popes in our community, fixing things and jumping in wherever there's a crisis. And, at a very early age, we were taught to be selfless, right? To put others first. Excuse me. We were taught to put others first and to be the person that everybody can rely on. And look, there's nothing wrong with being reliable. It's actually a very great trait. There's nothing wrong with being supportive to the people that we love. But sometimes that drive there, right? That drive and determination to be there for everyone else starts to suddenly become like an eclipse to our own needs. And that's where things get messy. So think about this, y'all. How often have you dropped every single thing to go be there and help somebody else, only to find out that they didn't even really need your help? Or how about this? You go above and beyond to serve someone and they don't even appreciate the energy that you put into it. Maybe they didn't learn anything from the experience, because They knew you would jump in and fix it, right? So how could this have been a teachable moment for them when you, Olivia, poked it? You fixed it, right? I call that the rescuer trap. And many of us fall in this trap where we want to go in and we want to be Captain Save-A-Ho. We want to fix everything for everybody all the time, not realizing that the universe has placed this before them so they can learn a lesson. But we keep showing up learning a lesson that ain't ours, right? And listen, y'all, I've fallen into this trap many times, like more times than I can count, more times than I probably would want to even admit, y'all. So let me tell y'all about this clown show that I used to attend, right? Just a little story. So a few years back, I had this person in my life. We're going to call him Chris, right? Chaos Chris, right? We'll stick with that. And so Chris, y'all, Chris was always in the middle of some drama. Chris's ass had relationship problems, job issues, family feuds, you name it, Chris had it. Right? And every single time I'd be right there, ready to lend an ear. I was offering Chris advice. I was helping Chris pick up the pieces. I would drop everything. I would cancel my plans. I would even rearrange my own life just to go help Chris. And for a long time, I told myself that I'm just being a good friend. But here's the thing. No matter how many times I helped Chris out of a crisis, no matter how many times I helped him to sort through his chaos, right? There'd be another one right around the corner. It's like drama took a number in his life. And I was there every single time to be like, nope, I got it. Boom, I got it. Like I was his bulletproof vest or something. And it's like Chris was truly a magnet for drama. Like it sickens me. It hurts me to think back to how much drama that he used to just attract, y'all. And every single time he would call me, I would get sucked right back into his mess. I'd feel this gravitational pull, like all of a sudden it had become my duty to help him, to be the one to save him from himself. And so one day, I can remember standing in my kitchen after yet another phone call from Chris, and I just felt this heavy weight. Like literally, y'all, it felt like someone had picked up the world and set it on my shoulders. I was exhausted. I was frustrated. And all of a sudden, I found myself feeling a little resentful towards him. Because here I was, giving my time, my energy, my joy, everything that I had to give to someone who never actually seemed interested in changing his situation. And at that point, I realized that I was allowing myself to be the star performer in a circus that wasn't even mine. Right? I ain't received no benefit from this. All the ticket sales, all these seats is full to this circus, and I'm over here performing for a circus that ain't even mine. And that's when I remember having a conversation with my dad. And my dad was like, baby, that ain't your monkey. That ain't your circus. Why are you over here trying to run this show? What do you benefit from it? What do you get from this? Cause you know, my dad knew Chris. And so he's like, this boy don't want to change. This boy don't want to grow. You know what I mean? And so over and over and over, when I would call my dad and I would vent about how I felt. Thank you, gifted one. I would vent about how I felt about Chris and all the toxicity surrounding him. My dad would just say, not my monkey. It's not my circus. Not because he wanted to shut me down, but he wanted to remind me that ain't my show, y'all. And y'all, at some point, that phrase hit like a lightning bolt. And I finally began to truly understand this is not my show to run, right? That's Chris's life. So it's not my responsibility to help him or to fix him or to heal him. And from that moment on, y'all, I knew that I had to change. I knew that I had to take a step back. And so that's when I had a realization, right? That I had to realize that that's Chris's lesson. And this is what Chris is manifesting. And the longer that I hang with Chris, well, then I'm going to slide into that birds of a feather flock together. Or when they tell you, watch the company you keep. Because I started noticing that as I was helping Chris get shit off of his shoe, that I had boo-boo on my own shoe. And y'all, I ain't like that, because I have never been a person to entertain mess and bullshit. I don't do drama. But I learned that the more that I tried to clean up Chris's mess, the more mess that I kept getting myself into. And I would get Chris all cleaned up and polished, only to carry that burden myself. So now all of a sudden I got beef out here in the streets with people, because I'm trying to set Chris's boundaries for him. Right, Demi? Like, I'm trying to make sure that Chris is good, and Chris don't give a damn if I'm good. What up, Bob? Nobu, welcome in. So y'all, that's when part 2 happened for me. Right? The realization that changed everything. Because when I finally started to recognize that I had a choice about where I was placing my energy, things began to shift. I realized that every time I jumped up to help Chris with his mess, I was choosing to hand over my peace. Inspired Risings Queen. I was choosing to let someone else's drama dictate my mood. I was giving up valuable parts of my day. And ultimately, I was affecting my own life, right? And that realization was so empowering. But also, y'all, if I'm being honest, it was a bit terrifying. To look back and realize how I had wasted so much of my time in situations that weren't mine. Because seriously, y'all, when y'all step back from other people's chaos, there's this fear that maybe they'll be upset with you. And when I stepped back, y'all, Chris was mad. And I saw a side of Chris that initially I thought, oh my gosh, I've never seen this before. He's never acted this way before. But y'all, once I stepped back, I was able to realize that Chris has always acted like that. That is exactly who he has always been. Right? But instead of me allowing Chris to be unapologetically a hot mess, I kept trying to clean him up. I kept trying to polish him, make him look good. That was my bad. Right? They say when people show you who they are, believe them. And I didn't believe that's who Chris was. So I kept making the mistake of giving him a mask to wear. I kept trying to turn him into something that he was not. And y'all, Chris's ass is still out here being messy as hell. And that's fine. Because I stepped away and decided to let Chris run his circus in the manner that he wanted to. Right? And you know, sometimes when you decide to take that step back and when you're deciding to prioritize your peace, you know, maybe the other person will feel like you're abandoning them. Or maybe they'll feel like you don't care. And I know that that's a very tough feeling to sit with, especially when you've been such a giver all along, right? Especially when you've been their go-to person. But just from that situation with Chris, y'all, here's what I learned. If somebody truly values you, I mean like truly and really respects you and loves you, they're going to understand that you have a need to put a boundary in place. They ain't gotta like it, but they'll respect your decision to protect your peace. And so the key is recognizing that it is okay to let people figure out things for themselves. It's okay to trust that they'll be okay without you jumping in every single time. And sometimes that means just stepping back, right? Because stepping back is actually the most supportive thing that you can do. Because when we constantly are jumping in to rescue someone, we're not giving that person space to grow. We're not giving them the room to breathe, the opportunity to learn, the opportunity to make a mistake and find their own strength. Right? So we want to make sure that we're stepping back and we're giving them the opportunity. We're empowering them. Right, Janelle? Letting them know, listen, I got faith. You're going to figure this out. So, again, we have to choose to prioritize our peace over constantly being left in their pieces. We've got to stop dimming our light, and we've got to go out there and shine bright and encourage them. Listen, I got confidence. You'll figure it out. When you get tired of that mess, Chris, honey, you'll say enough is enough. In fact, Chris, you've watched me do this so many times, right? So, if you like what I do, then I suggest you do what I did, right? Because I'm not doing it no more. If you could tell me about all the other times and you can bring up all the other incidents where I saved the day, then you can do what I did because you have an excellent memory, right? So let's talk about part 3, y'all. Part 3, the cost of constantly stepping into chaos. Because it does come with a price, you guys. So let's get real about what it costs us when we keep putting ourselves in the middle of other people's drama. Every single time we do this, we're taking our time, our energy, and our focus away from things that actually matter to us. We're allowing someone else's chaos to rob us of our peace. And ultimately, you guys, that's a price that we can't afford. When I was constantly letting myself get pulled into other people's problems, I was missing out on my moments of calm, my moments of joy, my moments and opportunities to just be me, right? So all those times that I was putting someone else's needs before my own well-being, y'all, I was suffering in silence. And here's the hard truth. We cannot be the best versions of ourselves if we are constantly giving our energy away to everyone else's issues. So there's a cost. There's a cost emotionally. There is a cost physically, right? To letting ourselves get wrapped up in other people's chaos. That's stressful. It makes us anxious. It leaves us drained, right? And eventually, just like my situation with Chris, we start to feel resentful. We start to feel like we've been taken advantage of. But here's the thing. They're not the ones taking advantage of us. We're the ones that keep showing up to their circus. It's our choice. And that means it's also our responsibility to choose differently. See, in the past, we didn't realize we were doing this, right? But now we know better. So it's our responsibility to do better. It is our responsibility to begin to prioritize our peace, to reclaim our joy, our happiness. And they say, some people are like, oh, an old dog can't learn a new trick. Bullshit. If that dog want to learn how to do it, they'll learn how to do it, right? So we have to understand that no matter what, point we are in the relationship, that we've got to trust that if it's in God's will, they'll get it together. Right? That person has the free will just like we have the free will. So when I realized that Chris wanted to stay in the mess, when I realized that Chris wanted to continue to attract that negativity in his life, I had to say, you know what? I've had enough. I mean, I've grown, and Chris appears to have grown, but I realized that his growth was only externally, right? He got a little beard. He's getting a little gray. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I thought we was aging together. We were aging, but he wasn't growing. Chris was still trapped in that high school toxic mentality. And I'm like, yo, listen, I'm a grown ass woman, dog. Like, I can't keep showing up for this. Like, it ain't like in high school where we fought, somebody gets suspended or whatever. Y'all, Chris, you have me keep fighting, I'm going to jail. Appears, key word. Yep. And so that's where I began to set boundaries, right? That's where I really began to learn to say no. And y'all, when I tell y'all Chris used to have me negotiate my no's all the time, I would say no, but it would be like, no, I can't do it, Chris. Y'all, so part 4 was a tough one for me, not just with Chris, but with all areas of my life. I had to learn to set boundaries, and I had to learn how to say no. And, in that phase, I started to think, okay, do I actually step back? Because I felt like if I step back, then I'm still sitting here. I'm still stuck in this mess. So I had to learn, how do I start setting boundaries, right? What does my peace even look like? Because I've been in the thick of things. I've been in the trenches with him for so long. What does my peace even look like at this point? So it started with me being self-aware and being okay with saying no and like meaning it, letting my no be no. And y'all, with Chris, it was hell no. Like, I literally just had to say, hell no, I can't do it. I learned that boundaries aren't about being selfish. They're about knowing where your responsibility ends and someone else's begins. When we're telling other people no and we're setting our boundaries, y'all, it is saying, I care about you, but I also care about myself, and I need to protect my peace. So, Vontae, it's like you tell them, I love you, but I love me more. And I can't pour from an empty cup. And baby, you draining me. And the more I hang out over here, the less I get to pour into my cup. So I need to protect my peace. And so for some of us, y'all, sometimes that simply means saying, nah, I can't help you with this one. Or, listen, I'm here, but I'm not going to fix this for you. I need you to learn this lesson. Because, honey, I learned it like 3 years ago. I've been fixing this for you for 3 years now. And baby, if you don't know by now, I don't know what to tell you. But that's your lesson to learn. Because, see, I already learned it. And that's obvious because I fixed it. So, thank you. I aced the course that I didn't sign up for. And I know it sounds easier than done. I get that, y'all. But just like the list of other things that appear impossible sometimes, we just have to look and remember that impossible says I'm possible. And so the more we practice it, the easier that it gets. The more we learn to value our peace, the more we understand that setting boundaries is a form of self-respect. It is the ultimate form of self-respect. And like I said, I love Chris. To this day, I do, y'all. But I love Shantae more. And when I set my boundaries and I let it be known to Chris, like, hey, I love you, but I can't keep doing this. You are now becoming a problem in my relationships, right? Because think about it, y'all. I'm over here running, being Captain Save-A-Ho for Chris, but I got a whole man over here. I got a whole relationship. So now my man is like, is there something going on with you and Chris? Because, honey, he can't see it. He can't see why I keep running over here, saving this one, right? Why does he need saving anyway? Oh, because he over here manifesting mess, and you right in the thick of it. So it was taking a toll on my relationships. It was affecting my other friendships because, honey, my other friends did not like Chris. Ain't never liked Chris. But I'm like, y'all, he's okay. He need a little help. He didn't get enough hugs. He just needs somebody to show him some attention. Y'all was making excuses for Chris. So when I hung around Chris, I had to make sacrifices because my friends didn't want to hang with me if I was with Chris. Right? So when I finally had this conversation with Chris and I said, listen, being with you is costing me all of these things. You know, of course, like the true narcissist that he was, he wanted to flip it all on me. Right? Everybody else was the problem. Chris had something to say about every single one of my friends. Chris wanted to bring up all the things that had happened in my relationship, not realizing all the situations that he gave about the relationship that I was in stemmed from him. The disagreements that I had with my partner at the time was because of you. So it was funny to me that all of a sudden Chris wanted to point the finger, not realizing that we were pointing back at him. And on that day, I really saw Chris for who he was without me fixing him up, right? I saw the very unpolished, not so demure version of him. And I realized that my piece was more important than being left in his pieces. And I realized that my piece was more important than being left in his pieces. So I've got part 5 for you guys, which is 5 practical tips for protecting your peace. Okay? We've got to protect our peace, y'all. And so over the years, here are some strategies that helped me, and I hope that they help you guys too. And we've talked about these things before, but I want to bring these back up for the purpose of today's topic. First, we have to pause before we jump in. Yesterday, I told you guys about learning to respond versus always reacting to situations. That's key to protecting your peace. So sometimes we have to pause before we jump into somebody else's mess, right? The next time someone brings their drama to you, I want y'all to just take a beat. Ask yourself, is this my burden to bear? Is this truly my situation to fix? A simple pause can help you decide if this is something you actually need to engage in. 9 out of 10 is not. Right? So we need to just take a moment to say, what does that have to do with me? And in that pause, I'm pretty sure you're going to end up saying, that ain't my monkey. This ain't my circus. I hope you figure it out. Well, call me back when you figure it out, right? Let me know what happens. Because that ain't my monkey. This ain't even my circus. In fact, I ain't even buy a ticket to this show. So, thanks but no thanks, you know? I like my drama on the TV. Not in my real life, not in my everyday life, right? Slim, welcome in. Rochelle, welcome in. So again, number 1 is pause before you jump in. Number 2, communicate your boundaries clearly. Your boundaries don't have to be harsh, but they do have to be clear, y'all. So it might just mean you're saying something like, I'm here for you, but I gotta take care of me too. That's honest, it's kind, and it respects both you and the other person. So I'm here to listen. That's why I said, hey, let me know what happens. But I can't jump in, I can't fix this. That's not my problem. So you want to make sure you're clear. And like I said, you don't have to be rude about it. Just be clear about it. Another thing that you can do is to use mantras. After my dad used to say, not my monkey, not my circus, baby, listen, that became a mantra for me. I can't tell you how many times I've whispered, not my monkey, not my circus. Right? Just under my breath. I see something and I get ready to say something, y'all, and I just bite my tongue. Not my monkey, not my circus. Another thing that my dad used to say when I was growing up, he talked about the man in the window arguing with the monkey. Y'all. And I used to be like, why does my dad like monkeys? Like, what is all these stories about monkeys, y'all? Until I realized we was talking about a circus, which pertained to the shit show that everyone kept dragging me into. But my dad used to say, imagine you're walking down the street, minding your business, having a good day. And in the middle of the neighborhood, all of a sudden, there's just a glass house. And you've never noticed this glass house before. So, of course, you're going to stop and you're looking over because while you're walking, you happen to see a man in the window of the glass house arguing with a monkey. And that's just a sight to see, right? First of all, that you have this glass house just randomly in your neighborhood that you've never seen before. So you're fascinated with the glass house. But now you're intrigued by the man in the window arguing with the monkey. And you're like, first of all, what they arguing about? Like, bruh, do they understand each other? Like, does the monkey speak English? Or does the man speak monkey? Like, what's happening here? So now you're getting so vested into it that all of a sudden all that peace, all that joy, all that happiness that you were experiencing is now focused on what's going on over there. When what's happening in that house ain't your problem. So stories like that, are just a quick reminder to me, right, to ground me and bring myself back into here and now. Because I don't need to know what's happening on the other side of that glass. That's not my problem. And it's not necessary for me to jump into every single chaotic situation that's around me. It's not for me. If the universe wanted me to learn that, they would have had me argue with the monkey. Right? So again, that's not my problem. So I like to use mantras to help me and quick little witty phrases and things like that to help remind me of where I'm supposed to be, right? What's my problem and what's not my problem. Number 4, something that I also recommend is that you check yourself. And when I say check yourself, I mean check in with yourself. You must check in on yourself regularly. You have to get in the habit of asking yourself how you're feeling. If you notice that somebody else's issues are weighing you down, it might be time for you to reevaluate your level of involvement in their life. They don't always notice when you are feeling the weight of what they're trying to get you to carry. And truth be told, many times they don't even care that it's heavy to you. They're just trying to get it off of themselves. So they're going to throw it on whoever will catch it. And in many situations, that's you. So make sure that you are checking in with yourself on a regular basis. So that way you have the opportunity to reevaluate situations and hopefully do so before it gets to the level of like me and Chris, where our situation now is just null and void. Like, we're not even friends on social media. All the years of love and support down the drain because Chris wasn't ready to grow. And if I could have caught it sooner, perhaps. If nothing else, maybe I wouldn't have wasted so much time, right? But it is what it is, right? Because tip number 5 is practice self-care with intention. And so I began intentionally choosing where to give my energy. I began purposely pouring into me, filling my own cup back up. So at some point, it is necessary that we take back the energy that we've been spending on other people's problems and we pour it back into ourselves. And that's what I had to do with Chris, y'all. I started journaling more. I started meditating, exercising, just taking a quiet moment for myself. Making sure that I gave myself time to recharge. And that is something that is so necessary and so valuable. So make sure that you are practicing self-care with intention. So our last part for today, you guys, I want to end with the freedom that comes with letting go. The best part about stepping back, letting go of that negative energy, is the freedom. When you finally start to honor your peace, when you begin to let other people's monkeys stay with them, all of a sudden it's like a weight is lifted off of you. You find that you have more time, more energy, more clarity, and you start to feel lighter, more grounded, right? And then all of a sudden you're able to realize just how valuable your peace truly is. We're not here to save everyone. And we're not here to carry everyone else's burdens our way, right? Our job is to live fully, to love deeply, and to hold on to our peace with every single thing we've got. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their drama, just remember this phrase: that ain't my monkey. This ain't my circus. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today on another episode of the Room to Breathe podcast. I hope that you're walking away with a little more clarity and a whole lot of permission to protect your peace. Remember, this is your life and you have the right to live it on your terms. If we are not friends already, be sure to give us a follow, subscribe to our channel, so that way you never miss out on our latest content. And I also, again, wish to invite each and every one of you to visit our website at theselfcareclub.org. There you can book a personalized one-on-one coaching session. You can check out our affirmative apparel and other motivational merch, including our music, as well as a treasure trove of free resources designed just for you. So whether you are looking to elevate your self-care game or just find some extra inspiration, know that we've got you covered. I thank each and every one of you for being a part of the Self-Care Club community. I am excited to connect with you all again soon. But until next time, I wish to encourage you to keep breathing, stay positive, and remember that you're always going to be supported here at the Self-Care Club. Don't be afraid to take up space and make a little room for you to breathe. I pray that each and every one of you have an amazing day on purpose, filled with nothing but purpose. And I look forward to connecting with you again soon.